Hey, sports fans. It's Friday night, May 29th. I'm just working this thing, trying to get better at it and put out my 2 cents. And if I can help, I'm grandpa, I guess. I'm going to be 77. Everybody died off in my family and shit. It's getting down to nothing. And lived in New York in the 70s. I see Michael Francis and Sammy the Bull. That they started with their podcast. So I said, hey, I like vent, talking. And I bounce off myself right now. So I said, me and my imaginary friends uh, in New York, we used to hang, man. You say, I'm not there no more. You got to sober up and go on your own, I guess, you and God. That's what it ultimately boils down to. And if you're blessed with friends, or I'm looking at a ton of stuff on YouTube to educate myself besides just going to an AA meeting and staying sober for 90 days or something, got 47 years by the grace of God. I'm reading the Bible every day. I don't like this El Paso Arid Club. It's just a little too, I don't know. Maybe it was country club, like I was saying before, California. And this is predominantly, I just seen something a couple hours ago that it's a 1965. Said California used to be 80% white. And 1965, they passed an immigration bill or law or some shit. I guess letting, at that time, mostly Mexicans, it used to be Mexico, but the borderline is drawn over here. And if you go to LA right now, I say it's all Mexican. That's why I said the reference point 1963 with the Beach Boys, Surfing USA, and Surfer Girl, and that white, clean, talented. Uh, Basically, I mean, there ain't nobody perfect, ain't nobody got. Basically, ups, upstanding citizens, they used to call it. Productive. So now you go there, you can see every day on YouTube a guy getting away from the cops, driving 100 miles an hour, motorcycle, four wheeler, with the defiance of authority. And I just say to the Mexicans, my cousins were in East LA back in the 50s or the 40s or some shit. So, but I don't have all the tattoos, and I didn't go to prison for 25 years. You don't have to do that. La Raza and all that. Not Gumba. What do you say? Carnal, brother, whatever. But not putting nobody down. It's just that it's your choice. You can go one way or the other. But there was in that culture with the zoot suiters, the Navy guys are hitting on the Mexican broads, and then they got into it, blah 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 blah. So, like the lowriders, man, unbelievable workmanship. It's all a word game, and but the second point, like my father was from Mexico, my grandfather was from Spain. My dad used to say, "Well, yeah, but how much does it cost? You're just trying to go from point A to point B." And there's stuff out there like how far you want to take it. Old sayings. I try to be, I guess you call it conservative nowadays. I used to be extreme. I can look back at some of my behavior. And I said, man, you fucking crazy motherfucker. You know. Anyhow. I got hard that ass with all that shit. And I worked my ass off, drank my ass, everything to excess. And my grandmother and my mother said, my mother, I think, says, you always overdo things. Now, I don't know what part of the brain tells you, from what I'm seeing on YouTube, little dribs and drabs, is that your brain, according to your environment, your mom and dad, the school, your friends, and all that, influence your brain to react in a certain way, whatever. So I'm trying to figure that out. Just at my leisure, it don't matter anymore. Fuck it. But I just, I say get right with God and center yourself. My ex called me last night. The shrink got her on medicines. Now she's suicidal, not homicidal. But so I said, I guess the two go together somehow up here. But now she's getting different. The medicine's giving her different. I'm not trying to become a doctor or a psychiatrist at this point in life. I had bits and pieces. I had therapy and all that, but they tell you too in AA, basically free. And if you want to donate a quarter or a dollar, whatever, I used to give a quarter, and then I started working. I always had a couple bucks more, like that was one of the promises. So, like to tithe, or well, you're doing better now. Let go of a dollar, theoretically, to help, central office and pay for the publishing of informative pamphlets and all that shit. And that was a club in LA. They had to come out with a rent. They charge each, it's called rent. I went to one meeting at Times Square around 44th and Broadway, somewhere around there. And I think back in 80, I went back to New York, I think in 80, around 85, 84, 85. Been gone like 4 or 5 years. Went back out to California, come back. Hey, Times Square, hit a fucking meeting. And one guy says they're passing a basket. It's like, it's like $4,500 a month. Back then, California had went to Costa Mesa. There's a 2-story place in Newport Beach, like a block from the ocean. The Newport Club. It's upstairs, so I don't know what the rent was. Costa Mesa Club is about the size of a house, basically. Just a 2, 3, 4 bedroom house. What 2,000 square foot, something like that, and then a parking lot. It was a dirt lot with gravel. Anyhow, I don't. They weren't transparent. They didn't give you information. That's for them. The political bullshit. I'm guessing the rent I had in a 1 bedroom apartment a block over was what the fuck was it? Around 300 a month, something like that. 250. This is back in 80, 81, 82. I was working a gas station job for $3 an hour, so you know, like now it's all everything's inflated about 10 times the price. But so I'm thinking maybe they had a long-term lease, 30-year mortgage or some lease or whatever. I'm guessing it was going to get it wasn't all that much. I guess so back then. Maybe zone commercial. They had a permit to pay 20, 30, $40 a year to run a business or something, or a charitable organization, whatever the fuck it is. And then I'm guessing three to 500 a month. It wasn't all that, but there's when they had a little coffee bar and they'd have spaghetti dinners and become like a family. Answers a little electric and the water. They got a couple of bathrooms and uh, can't remember if they cooked or not, but anyhow, utilities. So that's what they take out what they need. If there's anything left over, they either put it in their pocket or they send it to the regional headquarters, whatever. Blah blah blah. It's like a business. Also, I just use it for. Uh, I was facing a lot of time in New York. I was like getting to be a wet brain, blackout drunk. So basically, it saved my life. But I don't really want to get into the politics of it. You know, uh, if you can understand what I'm saying. So anyhow, that my thing was to get back to work and make some money. Now I'm retired. It's like I don't care no more, really. I mean, it's just take it easy, like they say. Yeah, take it easy. I'm tired. I worked 2 hours this morning. It's 90. It was 94 degrees out. I'm take it easy. I smoke a couple of cigarettes. I'm like, what? I drink some water. I got some Pedialyte. I'm doing the best I can with what I got. Some keep it simple. Mom always said drink lots of water, but that immigration thing. Getting back to that is that everybody's also drinking water. They're restricting the government. They're restricting washing your car too much or watering the lawn. The way of life. My dad used to water the lawn like twice a week and staying out there for half an hour or something. And it was nice. I had to mow the lawn and trim it. My mother had a little garden, the good old days. And there's still some of that on video, YouTube, which I appreciate. I look into it. But, the thing is, I see a guy and he's got a place and he gets all into the technicalities of this, that, and the other. And it's like, oh, fuck, man. My mother didn't do that. She had a small little, maybe 10, 12 foot by 6 foot little rectangle outside the back door. And man, I remember we'd go to the grocery store, I think, and they would have those little packets of seeds like for a dime. And you pick out what you want. Or she had a couple of plants, so I can't even remember. It was like 3 or 4 till I was about 10. I think she gave up on it. I can't even remember. My dad had a peach tree in the corner, and every year it'd give you 5 or 10 peaches or something, and you wait till they're ripe, and get them. Put a little cereal with a slice of peaches up and put a little sugar on it and milk and all that. It was delicious, but my dad used to make a point to that. The point being, looking back, is that things take time to grow and whatnot. And, sometimes it got a little spot on it. You got to cut that off or, wash it a little bit. It's not all this EPA fucking overkill. So that's the way we grew up. So we used to drink water out of garden hoses and look at me now, my parents both lived to be 100. So I'm going along with what they say to a point, but they didn't. I'm down to 10 cigarettes, smoke 4 packs of Pall Malls a day, driving a cab with all that stress and hard physical work, which is not bad, but I'm looking at my elbows, skin. I'm getting flabby now, but the the bones here, everything's wore out. So I take it. He's putting things in perspective. But I feel good. I stopped the options. I was going broke again. I said, just take a break. That's a lot of stress. But take a break. And it's running hot now. This S&P and the Dow Jones is over 5,100 today. JB Hunt went up another $5. Not but it's like you've got to put in. I'm looking at the chains. You got to put in like two grand or first thing in the morning, maybe 1,400, and then you make like 400. You got to stay on top of it. But I got up because right now it's hot. You got to get out there early in the morning. Not early, but I went out there from 9 to 11. It's not. I started sweating a little bit. Just welding a couple of things on the screen. I'm putting on the wrought iron fence. Finish up the bottom part. So I got me. It's like a $10 tarp. I think I got it about a year ago, but I left it outside with the sun in El Paso. I mean, if you tug on it, it's ripping. I cut it. I cut it in half. It's coming apart all over, and then I put my little welder on there. I got a little cheap ass MIG welder, and I pull it, and the shit's ripping. I got to toss it or hoard it, keep it for something, but whatever. Put that down. So I took a shower yesterday. I don't want to get all dust, fucking dust. It's fine dust. You barely look at it. And put on my mask, and then that welding shit. I put one mask, and it's toxic shit. So I can feel it at night, or when I first wake up. It's like, man, you're coughing. I noticed the different way I cough. I got the Montego cigarettes, the cheap ones. Kind of used to them, but they actually kind of lighter tobacco, five something a pack, 528, and then the Marlboros went up to 10, 10 28, and I smoke. It feels like it makes me feel a little heavier, and then the Camels just boom, which is fine, but I just do like one or two a day. I treat myself with sadomasochism or what. I like to torture myself and tell myself I'm enjoying. It's a habit, so this is like an addiction. So, but it's not illegal, So that's my main thing in AA. Where also I'm not trying to be a saint, but just I don't want to go to prison. I used to really get out there, and then, well, now I inherited my dad's house. I'm sitting here like a big dog and try to be humble. I says you ought to be grateful, and then you look, and there's so many people. I see Tudor Sharon was abused when they was a kid. I'd have probably killed myself. I know I was like 5. I was contemplating suicide, just and really wasn't being abused, but just my dad and mom where I had to, cut the grass or something. I'm fucking, don't feel like doing it, you know. I had my two buddies. I think I was 4 and they were 6. One Swedish guy and one German Mexican. That we used to play tackle football. 3 guys, whatever. Get a little exercise. And they were older. They're trying to teach me or whatever. I had to learn. This is what do you want to do? Let's play football or something. One guy had a football or something. So this is the way we're going to do it, like this. Okay, whatever. One guy hikes the ball to the other guy, and you got to try to tackle him. He's going to try to get around you in the front yard of Wayne, the Swedish guy, in front of his house. And the guy his dad built a old skinny A T-shirt, built a wheelchair ramp. I guess his mother had cancer or something. and hard work. The German guy, he couldn't play one Saturday because his dad said he had to lay some cement between the driveway and the door, the side door of their house. Basically 10 by 20, something like that. And I came over and looked at it after they're done. But hard work. It's fucking hard work, man. He was like 7 or something. So I don't remember what happened to them. Crazy life out here. And it says alcoholics are time millionaires. I went 14 years basically. Sometimes 2, 3, sometimes 6 meetings a day. Just there's a lot of very good uh, information. Like they say, it's physical. In 90 days, you started. I lost 7 notches on my belt. I was getting bloated. I'm lucky I didn't get cirrhosis of the liver. Caught it in time. It's serious shit, man. And then the spiritual aspect, of course, you got some holy rollers. Don't say the word fuck around them. Bad language is a sign of spiritual depravity or some shit. And I said, whatever, motherfucker. Get out there in the deep. I hitchhiked 50 times across country. I've been out there on the streets of New York and 12 years. Try to had a couple apartments, started driving a cab, and worked my way up, pay my dues. Da 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 da. So I was just thinking right now, for what it's worth, I'd love to have somebody give me some feedback, but what's the difference between socialism, capitalism, or communism? And I was thinking, well, if it's, I'm American, I'm into capitalism, quote unquote. And then when you get a say I'm fucking dead broke, and now I'm receiving the government money. So when my son was disabled, he got $550 a month from disability, disability, whatever you call that thing. So I took it, that and food stamps, you qualify. Now I had to take him to school. I had to take him to the doctors. I had to run to the grocery store, cook, do every fucking thing, laundry, all that, and I was going to try to homeschool him. And it just, I was 59. Well, I was 40, what was I, 40, 42 or 43 or something when I had him, when we had him, whatever. So my dad said, don't think about it, just do it. Changing his diapers, it's shit 10, 20 times. He was incontinent. Fucking horror show. But by the same token, you're blessed because I had a son, and he was vaccines. He had started making progress. And then the system is like they can't wait to get a hold of. He's a kid in school. Nah, he's big for his age. He said he just turned 5. Well, I said, automatically. I says, number one, what business is it of yours? I put him in school when he's 6. That's the law. Yeah, but pre kindergarten and all that, so he don't get behind. The kid is next to a vegetable. Open your fucking eyes and look at him. I mean, he don't do shit. He's all fucked up. So uh, putting him in school is well, you'd have more time. More time to do what? I got no fucking money. Well, can't you work? They always got something for you to do. They can't stand one social worker in Long Beach question after question. And he was about, I think I was 45 or something. She was about 52 or something like that, social worker. And weird broad. And she's asking me questions for about half hour straight. And I says, can I ask you a question? She says, yeah, go ahead. He says, do you have any kids? No, you know. Well, how the fuck? Who put you in charge of it? Who give you this job? You know, that's a Long Beach, man, with the gay community. Now they say they got a ton of empty restaurants and businesses downtown. When I left, they were trying. The old people was trying to. They were trying to run the Navy out of there, close the Navy base, and that's a source of income. Blah blah blah. Back in the '50s and '60s, Long Beach, the Pike, and all that. They closed all that down, and I guess it's turned gay. They're having a gay parade in Long Beach. The mayor. At that point, I go, fuck Long Beach, and it's expensive. You know, it was. I think right now it's 1,600 a month for like a 1 or 2 bedroom. Gunshots 24 hours. You know, fuck you. I had enough. I don't think you're going to change it. Maybe I'd like to see it, but anyhow, they built up the downtown area. They put a like movie six, brand new movie. They wanted to bring people to spend money into downtown Long Beach. Yeah, they got the Coliseum over there and some nice. I think they built a hotel or something. They built it up a little bit. You know, 6, 7 stories. Uh, it was clean. I drove down and when my buddy John from Jersey said, "Been downtown yet?" They cleaned. Oh, they got a new movie theater. He said, cruising, drive down and look, nice. It was all. You got the Bloods and the Crips and the Mexicans, the Longos, the West Side, the East Side, the gangs, and all. And you got all these old rich people that are living in those about I forget, man, 10, 12 story apartment buildings. You know, they got enough. So I think it was for them, and then they closed down. I just got a little 15-foot camper trailer, started driving a truck, and I'm sleeping at the side of the AA club or in a parking lot or something. I'm trying to stay in the back here. I said, are you in a camper trailer park, trailer trash? You got water, showers, propane. You can cook, and I went down to one. I says, yeah, let me try to move up in the world and have the conveniences, toilets and all that shit. So fucking, they sell at the camper places those little porta potties and all that. And I got some of that good stuff to put in the toilet. It dissolves everything, and you dump it and all that. You got to pay a couple of bucks here, a couple of bucks there. Trying to save money. But anyhow, I went over there, and the lady says they've been there forever, probably since the '50s. She says, "I'm sorry, sir, we're closing. The city shut us down for redevelopment to upgrade." So now that was back in '82. It's 18, 34, 40 years later, 45 years later. Now it's the economy, the politics, all that shit with the home. Oh, man, what a bunch of shit. So anyhow, with that gay shit, I says, fuck Long Beach. The lady says, well, piss off, a weird looking motherfucker. They took over the lesbian club, took over the MWA club around 85, 86, around 87. Theirs burnt down and they started gravitating to my friend John. He says, when was the last time you got laid out of there? We used to get laid 2 or 3 times a week out of there. And I said, well, I just took that for granted. They distracted me. And he says, they're all coming up from that lesbian club. And I started looking in the meetings, and they always want to shut me up. Didn't get control of the bill. Hey, Rick, it's 3 minutes. Anything else is bullshit. So, like I said, in New York, we used to just hang on the street and I had 4 or 5 to our little gang, or the Wino tribe they call us. And you talk to blacks, Puerto Ricans, Jews. Like I say, my friend Bernie, you sit there we get a couple of quarts of beer, a couple of cigarettes. We sit there and bullshit. He's from Brooklyn. Sit there and yak for 3 fucking hours like it ain't nothing, and go get a blimpie sandwich or something. We used to sit on them stoops for bum money, that's, but always yakking, and I'm talking about everything under the sun. So I kind of got used to that. Yeah, same way with the truck drivers. I was hitchhiking. I just come back from Vietnam, and one guy, man, I'm so sleepy. First thing is about sun just coming up, and this motherfucker got a carton of cigarettes, and I'm smoking one up. Fucking, I'm like this. I've been out all night walking and hung over, whatever, and motherfucker pounds on that doghouse right there. He says, "Hey, motherfucker, I picked you up so you could talk to me and keep me awake." I'm like, yeah, okay, blah, 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 blah. Crazy world that is. So, I don't know, man. I'm in my room, obviously. This is a podcast. I'm starting to learn about this shit. I'm slow. I really don't care anymore. I get on Instagram, put out a 20-minute video, and just do what everybody else is doing. But then again, I talk a lot. They have something in the like I'm more like to me. I'm more like a documentary or information, and share your information. Have an intelligent conversation. And my dad used to talk to me. My mother used so. That's where it all comes from. I'm just trying to straighten all the BS in my mind. Why? Because it always comes back to you and your behavior. And how the fuck did I end up getting to be like Charles Manson's right hand man? Acid, a little bit of acid, that California freedom, that woke type culture. I'm looking at the Democrats, a lot of them, Maxine Waters, fucking screaming, get up in a Republican's face. And man, that's extreme behavior. And it's not intelligent at all. It's animalistic. And I used to be like that. How do I know? And used to box, get in fights and all that. New Yorkers will fight. They love to fucking fight, man. And I ain't gonna say nothing. It's just that if I'd have finished my college and been in some of them clubs, like the guy across the street that did my dad's will, he's chairman of the Democratic Party for El Paso. Now his son took over. He ain't doing shit, but running for judge. The kid's like 30-ish. You're running for judge. They got a little house. It's clean. Got a refrigeration unit. That's new. And they're not. They're not. I think the old man got plenty. They say 200 an hour for lawyer. And I guess he knows everybody in town. He's got a picture of Hillary Clinton. I walk in there and this little entranceway. You got 2 seats while you're waiting for him. And he's got a new picture of Hillary. I was talking to him about when my dad went to him to make out his will, and I'm trying to learn about all this shit. He says he used to drive a Cadillac. I got a '68. He said he used to have an Eldorado back in San Diego when he was going to college. So that right there tells you Mexican American upper middle class. He's a nice guy, but he's always busy. I'm talking about cars, but he's so fucking busy. He's not really into that shit. But it is what it is. I'm looking at Scott Baio from Staten Island. He's out there protesting against Mandami City Hall, or they went to a protest at the Gracie Mansion. I think it's on 17th Street or something. The mayor's the mayor's residence, is some shit. I don't know. That man Dan, out of fuck, like I said, back in '70, it was Mayor Lindsay. The guy had pure class. He was always nice. Went to a Broadway play at night. They know which restaurant to go to afterwards, and they rub elbows with. It's a society club type. George Bush is part of Skull and Bones Club, and makes you wonder. But I was young again. I don't want no part of that shit no more. I mean, if you said, "Hey, Beck, let me fly you," my nephew's over there, fly to New York to go see his son in a Broadway play. I said, "Man, I'm too old for that shit." 3 4 hour flight, maybe an hour or two changing planes to get to New York, and I didn't hear him saying I'm going to pay for everything. Well, I'm broke, motherfucker. How to he's got that unlimited miles. We've been flying since '82. He was a pilot, but then he says it's cheaper to fly on an airlines or whatever. Big shot. I said, fuck all that. And I was going to tell him, let's go. Started driving a truck, making a couple of bucks. Let's fly down to Mexico to my dad's house and all that. Well, you got to speak Spanish when you get into the Mexican airspace. Hey, Gutierrez, you don't speak Spanish? Oh, he's one of those. I'm first generation. He's second generation. California. I said I tip my hat to you. Successful. You're 66. Retire. Give it a break, man. You're annoying as fuck. You're becoming a wet brain alcoholic. He repeats himself 4 or 5 times, and you got to let go and let God, because he sure don't listen to Uncle Vic. I love you, Uncle Vic. Fuck, threatening to kill me. I can have you killed, and so, what a, and then texting it online or over the phone or whatever. I said, next time you come to El Paso, we'll see. I told him he's trying to scare me or something. He's 10 years younger. I says, I'm assuming he's going to get a gun and shoot me. And I says, you ain't got the balls to pull the trigger. Silence. Yeah, fuck you, man. I was going to call Orange County Police and start getting a case going against him. Maybe I'll get half of that house he got. I don't want to do all that shit, man. But let's see how far you got. I mean, it completely surprised me. I love you, Uncle Vic. All the family's gone. We're talking about the history of our family from Mexico and whatnot. And how's your sister? She don't want to talk to me. Why don't you call her? Or she don't want nothing to do with me. What the fuck? It's an aggravating conversation. Then my other nephew tells my ex that I'm annoying and don't want to talking to me. He puts his thing from like I got to talk, and then I got to talk to my lady friend last night for an hour and a half, just bullshit, kick it around a little bit, and so gives you a night. My sister won't even pick up the phone. I try. It's like the last time. You got 70 grand from dad. She's 93, somewhere around there. Hey, enjoy it. You're in country club on the west side. You got a house. Your son's right there. About a half a mile over. Got $350,000 houses in El Paso. That's never invited over or nothing. Just so you got what you wanted. Your family's totally successful. A laser doctor fucked up her eye. And she was jogging up to about 85 years old, and she tripped and she was out there walking and broke her pinky toe or some shit. She's got scoliosis because of carrying the laundry basket. She used to do the laundry, hanging up clothes. That's heavy, and it's tore her spine out of. Had what did she have? Four kids and a husband and her. That's six people. He's doing laundry. Hey, I don't know what to tell you. You know, I'd say, why don't you? Because they hire help. You know, my nephew says, "Oh, I got a gardener." Because I'm talking about getting your hands dirty and all the dust and water and a weed killer and insect killer and what are you growing? Are you just growing front lawn? Or are you planting anything? You know, boy, I got a gardener. You know, well, it's like shut up. You know, okay, well, don't you know who I am? Well, that's like I told him. That's part of the family dysfunction disease. You know, they're teetotalers holier than thou. Oh, fucking extremists in one way or the other. I said, well, you got the woke left on the Democrats. He says, well, you got the extreme right on the Republicans too. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking that. Yeah, that's right. You got the KKK or Nazis or whatever the fuck. Extreme, and that's what they say. Conservative or middle of the road. You know, you don't want to shake up. Just live and exist. And as I'm a senior citizen, you know, I'm old. I already, when I was young, man, forget about it. You know, 18, 19, since I was 14, hitting the bars, hitchhiking, starting to fuck girls and whatnot, way out shit, driving. You know. Had a rock and roll band. We didn't make it big, but at one, what do they call it? The International there on the Hollywood Sunset Strip. There's one rock and roll band. I forget who it was, but Guns N' Roses or something. He says they had I think it was a Hyatt House. They're making it big. They rent out the hotel for the weekend. That's $1.50. You know, they said it was one big orgy. You can imagine, sex and drugs and rock and roll, So I had gone in there one time, I was trying to get a shower, and the guy said, well, they got a swimming pool in the penthouse, about 10 stories. I walk in there. I wasn't that grubby, but just kind of take a shower, jump in the water, whatever. I'm on the street there. I walk in, I walk over to the elevator, and I guess the guy saw me or somebody ratted me out. They got a camera or whatever. I get up there, get out of the fucking swimming pool with light. I said, nice, man. I mean, I'm just going to jump in with my pants or something. Fuck. I didn't think anybody cared because nobody gave a fuck out there. And then the guy comes out right next to the elevator, opens it, turn around. Says, sir, are you staying here? Or I think he went. This is a black guy. I think he went right to. You can't be up here. Some shit like that. Okay, you caught me. My sin of trying to take a shower went without paying for it. Yeah, what are you gonna do? My lady friend in Ohio got hired in Dayton for. She's on a state program or something, so she's working for the Dayton Dragons, AAA baseball or something, selling hot dogs and shit. So I was telling her 10 years ago, she was like, I think 20, 21 or something. Met her online. And fucking around with it, and she'd get lost for a while. You got one boyfriend after the next, one high school friends dying one after the next. I can't believe it. Well, I'm not in touch with my. There too, it's you can only do. People live and people die. You get you got to keep your focus a little bit on surviving yourself. But that's where I'm at. I don't mean to be cold blooded, but uh, just say a prayer for them and hope they go to heaven. That's it. There's nothing else you can do. So if you want to make a big parade or something, that's up to you. But uh, like I said, it is what it is. Anyhow, she got to working. Not a big. I told her go in the military, go to junior college or something. Now she says they offered her. She got accepted to the community college or something, and something about a $1,400 or $14,000 loan, which she qualifies for, Pell Grant or whatever. I said, go for it. She's like 30, going to be 33 on July 7th. Make sure I don't forget that. Her dad's a Vietnam vet. They were trying to get housing. They gave him some housing, which I'm glad to see. He's starting to lose his memory and all, or whatever. And her mom died. I don't know what to tell you. I get a little money if she's over there. Give me. We're not married, sweetheart. Like we're friends. I'm like your grandpa or something, but more like a coach. I ain't giving up spit. You got tough love. And she finally got baptized. Went into she had a kid, and the guy was going with her to church, and they got baptized. He got off drugs, working his ass off. Finally got a car. It got stolen. He got another nice Volkswagen. And, it's hard to make it. They were trying to get an apartment. This is the last 2 fucking years. And I don't know how many, I give up. If you'd have gone into service when I told you to when you were young, come on, you have some kind of benefits, but it's you'd have learned how to do shit, self discipline and all, submit. What do they say? Submit. We're surrender. In AA, it's surrender to win. Just go do this shit, put in. Yeah. I work. I used to work 16 hours on Friday, driving a truck. Go pick up, 1, 2 on Friday, 3 o'clock Friday afternoon. You go get your coffee, some cigarettes, you get in advance and fuel up. And you're driving all night, take a break. And 4 or 5 in the morning, the sun's going to come up. I'm going to put in, 450, 500 miles. Uh, time goes, the problem with a truck is sitting there, you got too much time to think. And then two, like I say, my knee with the clutch. And one guy went to the fuck that. He got a boss said, take that automatic, go to he was working on his truck and go pick up your other truck or some shit. And he said, I ain't driving no automatic. Well, it's the only truck we got available, so you got to go pick up your truck, take Joe with you. And, all right. So I guess they showed him how it worked. And he says, I'll be a son of a bitch. That was beautiful. That was nice. Easy to drive and don't have to put the clutch in. It's automatic. This is how we get used to doing things our way, even if it's harder. And AA said there's an easier, softer way to do it. You don't have to go do 20 years in prison. Just stop or reduce the crazy way out shit you're doing. The booze is the devil's in the bottom of the bottle. And once you quit drinking or using drugs, you can make reasonable decisions. So fucking New York, man, the bars stay open till 4, the liquor stay open till 2. you ain't got a chance, man. You know, like, and then I found out down at St. Mark's, I didn't know. He was always at the other end of the block. Never did know. Downstairs is a 24-hour AA meeting. And there's people at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, at least a couple. I think I went in there once, I think Sunday, 6 a.m. or something, and there was like at least 2 or 3 people. You know, wherever two or more gathered in God's name, and you go, somebody makes the coffee, and you got over there. They had them cookies with the filling inside. I mean, you know, fucking the post office man, James. He used to come in Friday with like a birthday cake, you know, and like this and that, and a cup of coffee. And you talk to these guys are all got you know, slacks and shirts, and they did their shit when they were younger, you know. They're making good money, you know, post office. And the counselor, that's his job to just kind of hang out, really. But I mean, they treat you like not like a king, but you know, like a brother, and understand the disease of alcohol. You know, it gets kind of complicated, but and I went on to Phoenix to see my brother, and the guy was McCabe. He had got me started in AA, and I finally met him. I was like 29, 30, 31, and he was like 50, pushing 60, whatever. You know, wife, family, house, and done some kind of work. I think he worked at the post office for a while, and he got me started. It was my cousin worked for the heard I was in trouble, and I guess he contacted. See, I didn't even know that. It's like the dysfunctional family. Should have said something sooner, you know. But that human nature is you don't do something until everything the wheels fall off. So yeah, I'm gonna order another pound of Corp Lux and weld and put a little extra weld on that in the spot weld, but it starts adding up, and I got to do some more to back door and about 8 windows, 10 windows, put gates. And I'm going to do quite a bit of MIG welding. So I think it's $22 for a roll, and that's expensive doing business. I'm going to try this. They evaluated this house, piece of shit, but 60 grand because the location's good. So I'm thinking if I fix everything and a little paint on the awnings outside, clean it up, because it is basically historic. It's 100 years old. And some people appreciate that. And I'm thinking because the lady next door, she bought the thing for 150 and put 100,000 repairs. They gutted the wire, you know, put new wires and whatnot. But I went down and talked to the guys working on it, and I seen her. I said, "How much you kick out altogether? You know, you just pave the parking lot in the back, asphalt. That's expensive. So it's a small lot, maybe 500 or 600 bucks to make it nice, you know." So I'm looking at it and I go, "Oh, fuck you! You got money." I wish I'd have known you're going to get some asphalt, because order a little extra. Because if you order a small amount, they're going to charge you the same as a full amount. You know, I'm saying, all right, get your asphalt for your side, and then have the guy drop. I'll open the gates and drop, I don't know, a cubic yard, 2 cubic yards, 3 cubic yards, whatever, 100 bucks or so. And then let me play with it. Pack it down with a shovel, just like a moron, like a Fred Flintstone or something, and get rid of all that dust. You know, it's a little, you know, make it a little nicer, kill some of them weeds. You got something covering the ground, because when it rains, they just sprout up like crazy. Just in the long run, make it easier for myself. And then supposed to put a cement pad for the car and whatnot. And thinking of maybe do with that wrought iron, make a little carport. That sun is, it's cloudy right now, but the sun, man, is and then the wind and the dust, can't even see the mountain a mile away, man. That's bad. I got to put my mask on sometimes. I got some spray and all that. I feel, bad for some people, but all this shit, they said polymath. I'm thinking 15 things at once, When I finished this fucking fence this morning, I'm going, oh, good. Let me send a picture to my nephew, because he did come over. And he says, you can make this place comfortable for yourself. And that's the idea, so he wants to, he thinks I'm goofing off or something. I slept for a year and a half, just 12, 16-hour naps. I'm fucking, my health is fucked up, but I said, well, you're not driving a truck. I'm not blaming. I'm just saying, driving a truck, like they say, they'll take 10 years off your life. And you got, I'm a truck driver and all that. Yeah, but it's a business. And then, like I say, I'm at that age. Up at this level where it's, it's not worth it no more. I can't hardly walk. It's ridiculous. $1,000 a month, living out in the parking lots and all that. It's cool to a degree. I mean, you make it so that you know how to take a shower once or twice a week and get used to it. But I'm noticing too, when I wash my face every day, I'm a couple of steps from the bathroom here. My face is clearing up. I think I look better. Trimming my hair. I feel more civilized and eating. I got my kitchen over here, refrigerator. I ain't got nothing in the truck, so you got to pay a little extra for food every day. So I was out there 16 years. I don't have to impress anybody. I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. And now they say, well, guy was a vet and got married and got family supported 40, 50 years out here. And I got a ranch in Wyoming and a wife and 10 kids and 30 grandkids. They all went to college, and, I made a good living off trucking. Well, good for you. You're blessed, but that's not everybody's the same. I guess I got a survivalist. My friend from Boston told me that. He says, after the world blows up, he says, you're still going to be here. You're going to have a sleeping bag and a jug of wine or something and some cigarettes, and you're still going to be surviving. So he recognized, the guy was intelligent, but he recognized that quality, if you would, within me, that most people don't understand it and get scared or have no idea. Oh, you're a bum, you're crazy, whatever, crazy but not stupid, So this is life. Like I said, I don't know what to tell people, because I got 129 IQ, but this is, well, the smarter you are, the less common sense you have. You got that. I had a buddy, Willie, that he was very intelligent, but he also, I ran that by him, and he says, yeah, that's true. He was a survivalist. And then if you appeal to a girl's going to help you be your partner or something. You become one, and he had a little apartment, got his beautiful little girlfriend, and playing the guitar. And I gave him a car. My boss gave me a car, and I gave it to him. I had another one. 2 cars in New York City. It's more than you need, Yeah, because I walked, I think, for 2 years straight, and I went up to Massachusetts. They got $60 cars up in Massachusetts, washing dishes, and I worked at a big, minimum wage, $2 an hour back then. But after a week, I say, hey, I'm getting $120, $150, and I was looking for a car. Hey, my friend's got a car with 65 GTO, needs an alternator. How much? Fucking GTO, man. This was in 70, 71. 5, 6 years old. Yeah, you want that? The other cars were like $50. And he says, GTO, man. It was $60. Okay, I think I bought it, and I can change an alternator. I don't know. I ended up with got my girlfriend over here from Jersey, fucking rich motherfucking. So I think I had 62 Chevy station wagon. It was nice, I think I don't know if I paid 60 or 100 or 50 or something. It was running, and we slept in the back. Because when I met her, I'm drinking beer sitting on the sidewalk in the summertime, Cape Cod. All the college girls in Massachusetts got more colleges, and they all come down to the Cape for the summer. So use your imagination. And the Packy liquor store, the grocery store, whatever. Rheingold was a quarter a can. I think there was two girls bouncing down the street. It's like 8:30 in the morning or something, like hippie style. I don't care. I just, hey, can you guys spare a quarter? I'm trying to get a can of beer across the street, man. Oh yeah, they give you like 50 cents, 75 cents, a dollar or something. You know where there's any rock and roll club? Yeah, down the street, about 6 blocks on that side of Brass Rail. We'll meet you there tonight. Oh, okay. So I run into my buddy Jay, who's a construction worker. Which one you want? Yeah, hey, he showed up. Yeah, and I had a motel, whatever. Bada bing, bada bang. Fucking. I started working. We're sleeping at the back of Howard Johnson's. 10, 11, 12 at night. Well fortified to go to sleep together. Throw my arm around her. How romantic, right? This girl's Saddle River, New Jersey. Her father had a 22-room mansion. Brother had a Corvette. Double garage and triple garage, 4 acres, right off the 17 highway in Jersey, right there. Mod on. Hey, I took her in the Tiffany's. I'm head over heels over this fucking broad. And she was a good girl, but she was also had been abused, I guess, beaten by her father or some shit. Anyhow, she was a waitress for a while. I started putting our money together, and then I got an apartment, little house in a little cottage in the back of a house. Nice, Cape and Hyannis. Can't beat that. But I'm hanging out with the Hell's Angels and a Devil's Disciple. Whatever. This guy Vinny, he just come back from mom. He's got, I got this boy. Come over, meet me over here, whatever. Irish and cook and Vinny English, Vinny cook, whatever. Go to Martha's Vineyards and all that. And he's got this girl, Betsy. Her old man was an angel, just died, had 7 Corvettes, 7 guitars, whatever. I banged the fuck out of this fucking broad, and I pass out. I'm working all week down Wall Street, a hitchhike up and back, and it was a Friday night, man. About 3:34 in the morning, man, I pass out. She says, I wasn't finished, and you punked out, and all. And I'm like, bitch, I gave you top shelf. That's all I got. So, and this other guy, Roger, but I was playing ball. It's a small town, and I almost got caught. But she comes out with this other guy, George. He had hitchhiked all the way to India, and da 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 da. They fell in love. And I guess they seen it with no future for me. But I love this girl. I took her. I thought and I took her to Tiffany's. I called them. They says, yeah, you come down and you get think you put down 10% in the finance or something, but I got hair down on my ass. I got a beard down on my belly. I got Viking Riders Newport, Rhode Island leather jacket with colors on it. It was a used, they're faded out, but you could see, you know. I walk in at Tiffany's like that. Here comes the fucking security guard. Let me know he's there. You know, they got scared or whatever. But the adventures of I ended up working three jobs. I think she was working one job. We moved to New York. I got an apartment on 85th in the West End. Little fucking one room with a loft bed, which is kind of cool. Bathroom and all. You know, that's fucking. I forget what we were paying, man. Not too much, but $250 a month or something. We were making it. I got that Chevrolet delivering newspapers. I was fucking loading the car down, you know, trying to make the cigarette money and everything else. And she wasn't working for a while. Oh, crazy life, you know. And you get back, and it's like Danny Trejo from East LA. I don't know, he fucked up or something, went to prison for a while. And, you know, man, he's got that Maria or something, that tattoo of like a Mexican girl on his chest, good size. Comes out, he made one of Selma Hayek or something, and she wasn't afraid of him or something, you know. And they did a movie and whatnot. And he showed her, you know, he ripped his shirt open. And she said she was memorized by that tattoo, whatever. But you know, he did his time, and then got a restaurant going or something, you know, Mexican food or whatever. And I think that's great. You know, I'd love to meet the guy. You know, so I think he's making money. I wouldn't call him a multi-millionaire. That's a problem with politics. You know, you got to, like I said, that socializing and schmoozing, I think they called it. But that's what that Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's girlfriend there, whatever. Donald Trump. Yeah, well, we'd see him a couple of times. Bill Clinton. Sometimes they have events, social events or whatever, where they all get together. I don't know. I've never been to one, so I don't know what they do. I'm imagining they're drinking and talking politics. But by the same token, this is people that they're going to weed you out. They're gonna check you out real quick. I mean, number one, you got to have, you know, money. And Bill Clinton, I think part of the deal is to have a wife. I don't see how the fuck he could stand that. I can't stand that Hillary. Love is strange, whatever. And I guess she lets him go out with other girls or something, whatever, you know, do coke and whatever. And that's what I would like to see an accounting. Never mind their income. I want to see an accounting of your time. What do you do from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, like work hours? Gives a speech for $2 million, you know, 2 or 3 times a year. Say what? The foreigners wanna know what he's saying and how he does stuff, so they can do the same. Which tells you this is not on the up and up. This is how to make a, you know, rob America of $1 million here, $1 billion there. And what we're seeing now with this transparency is how widespread it just boggles the mind, you know. So all I can do is make a comment on it and pass the word along, and so people know what's going on. AA identify the problem, but and then come out with a solution. I really don't have a solution. One or two people I see, well, we should do this, or well, we should do that. Vote them out. Like they said, there's 10 Congress people that ain't going to be there the next they got voted out. There's some, I think two or three of them. Jasmine Crockett, number one. What a piece of shit she is. But she ain't there no more. Thank God. And it's about 10, and I recognized about four names. And the Mitch McConnell, he's so fucking old. He having a stroke at the podium. Mitch, hang it up, brother. If you don't have enough money by now, you're 80 something. Just give it up. Go live on your Social Security. I bet you a dollar to a donut. I bet you he's worth. I'm going to say at least $2 or $3 million. If you can't live the rest of your life he's going to die after a while. But I'm doing it on $12.50 a month, and barring any medical $200,000 operation or something. That's what I don't get. I don't know if it's the wife been telling him for 50 years, you got to leave me money when you're gone. I need this and that and the other. And like Charlie Sheen, he was getting clean and sober, and his wife, with Denise Austin or something, wanted her and her daughter. I can't remember, something like 16 grand a month or more. How the fuck me and my son, $500,000 a month for the two of us. Got by. It wasn't no fun, but how do you justify? You have to live among that lifestyle? Man, fuck all that. You got to me, you got a kid, all bets are off. You do what you got to do. Don't try to be fancy. Just be functional, basic, and be grateful. Meghan Markle, man. I think Paris Hilton too. They finally had kids, and they're doing a cooking show or something. I'm like, whoa, probably going to starve to death, But they're doing something. They made an attempt. These are high society whores, whatever. Paris Hilton, she's with the lips. I don't know. She draws me right in, but talking about women that get something about women getting abused or something. We got to pass a law or start a program to help women be safe on the streets. Some shit. And I'm thinking, I was just seeing that you were with Diddy and Epstein. Goes over my head, What are you going to do? I see this guy, Carmen Cirillo, I think, the Italian guy, clean as a whistle, construction. He's teaching Italian. It's paisan. I guess it eats. Let's have some pizza and espresso. When you come to my aunt's house, the fucking guy with the chili pepper there was gold, And it's but I mean he's pushing 60. Trying to get the message across. My cousins in East LA, if you went when we visited my aunts and uncles in Yuma. Fucking well, the Mexicans are known for being maids and gardeners. Anyhow, tile floor. They got like $1 million, $500,000 house back then in Yuma, and refrigeration, you name it. They had millions. So you go over there and don't be coming in with. I spit in this place. It's a complete mess, and I spit all my life. I got sinus problems or something. Don't dare do that. And my mother, before we used to, Now, when we don't do this and don't do that, my my aunt Bessie Lola, Bessie was fuck the Nazis. This woman who put the fear of God in you, strong and part Indian. Lola was kind of fat and roly poly, real lovey dovey and all that, but. I was trying to get a rock and roll band. My hair is touching my ears. I got a little like like this. I got thick hair, so it's long. What I'm a Leo. It's my mane. I don't know what. Anyhow, that bothered the fuck out of her. She got a big ass Buick, little Sabre or Electra, whatever. Uh, let's go for a ride. It's that AC right there. Yuma is hot, man. It don't play. It's that AC. Beautiful fucking car. And she says, "Let me take you. I want you to get a haircut." I ain't. I think I was 14. I started rebelling. I want to be the Stones and the Beatles were out, and there was a huge hit, worldwide hit, and they had a little bit of long hair, the Beatle cut or whatever, whatever, and So I'm 14. Like I say, this is my little world, but they are kind of. She says, "I'll give you $20." I don't know if she's testing me out or whatever. $20 wasn't that much back. I had a paper route, so that's fucking. Yeah. But anyhow, so I held my ground. Christ, I don't think I ever saw her again. But this is. I don't know if anybody relates, but I'm sure. You know. Yeah. Times a dope will get you through hard times. Whatever. It's amazing. I just say now. I think just God was watching out for me a lot of times, and I'm healthy enough. I'm grateful because looking back and saying it out loud, kind of in public, or this is public, whatever. I just needed to hear it a couple of times. I think with an AA program and all that. Not just a couple of times. I went for 14 years. I want to make sure I don't go to prison because I caught myself a bunch of times. People pointed out in a constructive way that you're a sick bastard. You're a nice guy, but you're a crazy motherfucker. You're talking about what you did and how you think. So, kind of took it to heart. I've been around criminals and con artists since I was basically a teen. And you're running away. I'm hitchhiking. There's one guy. I'm sitting there. He gives me a ride. We're talking 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We got something to drink or something, cigarette or a joint or something. Next thing he pulls into a liquor store. I think we drank the last, and he says, "Let's go. Let's get another one." Some shit like that. So I'm going along with a guy. He's got a car. I'm thinking, hey, he's a new friend or something. I think we're down by the beach, Redondo Beach or something, California. I can't get better than that. This fucking guy, he says, "I want you to stay here." I think he pulled a gun out from his under his seat. He said, I'm going to rob the place. You sit here. I felt trapped, like what the fuck? Did I open the door and run when he went in? No. I forget what happened. I think I'm blanking out. I think he had $1.50 for another jug of wine or something. I think he come back out with a bottle or something, and we drank it. He changed his mind or something, or maybe he was a detective or some shit. And he says, I decided not to. I'm going to go see an old friend of mine or whatever. And, well, thank God, man. And I'm sitting there like a dumb fuck. You know, God was looking out for me. Yeah, in California, you probably do a year or two, like they say, just on GP, general principles, just because you was with the guy. Yeah, I didn't do nothing. I just sat there. Yeah, but you were with him. You have a responsibility. I find out later when somebody's committing a criminal act, you're supposed to turn them in or whatever. That's what you call a snitch. So I wasn't into that, you know. And like I said, I guess God looked out for me there, but I think He dropped me off, and I had my friends from church that we were all getting high and shit. 67, 68. I mean, shit can happen in a minute, man. You know, I was going to college and I was the victim. I know that there's a black guy. He says, "You're a slave or something," and he goes, "You know that slave mentality for the blacks, or not for the black, just for anybody, because you could be a slave to your addiction, whatnot." And I'm thinking, my mother told me we're second class citizens, Mexican Americans, whatever. And I guess I took it to heart. Finally, I told her, I said, "Mom, we're not. It doesn't matter. I mean, we're just citizens, and the sky's the limit. I'm sober." But I think I had that victim mentality for a while. This guy called me on it at JB Hunt, Rudy Bunt, the Italian, or whatever. And said, "Vito, how come you're always making excuses?" I didn't notice that. I said, "Well, number one, I got my severely disabled kid with 12 disabilities. You're always late. I got to change his diaper, pull over on the shoulder of the road. Hey, JB, the trailers. Hey, JB, that's a good way to get hit. Well, I'm in the back changing my son's shitty diaper, so I can't get on the CBs. 5 minutes, he's gone. I had it down to 5 minutes. So if I did that 3 times and I've been driving for 3 days, but it's the appointment time. I didn't realize that. I thought it's the old days. You get there, and I had one guy in Phoenix tell me the load don't get there till I get there. But that doesn't really work. They'll let you go. They'll blackball you if you're late 3, 4, 5, 10 times. Hey, this guy's always late. Because with the brokers and the dispatchers and doing the speed of business, whatever your appointment time. It's as an owner operator, it's your responsibility to go get your truck fixed. You're ready to go. Don't call us till you're ready to go. We got the loads. They got nothing but loads. So I was trying to do me a favor. Well, I was just starting. I'm new to owner operator, all that, and repair. Oh Lord, I got a PhD. And the guy's showing a hot shot. Went from Houston to Oklahoma City, and guy made 6 grand in 1 week, 5 grand in three loads. Got back to Houston for the weekend in 5 days. Oh, 1,200, got 6,000, 1,200 a day basically. But with a hot shot, when my truck was running, one of the fastest out there, uh, they was making 200, 300 a day, and then 400, 500, you get a better load, whatever. And I made one. I said, "Man, you're making $900 today." Went smooth. Just a good load, whatever. I don't think in 16 years, I don't think I made 1,200 a day. I think 900, maybe 1,000, but And then I don't think you have to. I'm not sure with the hot shots. You got like a dually with a little flatbed or something. Do light loads, 5, 10,000. I thought about it. I says, well, you know, I don't know. I want to get everything squared away with the house. I thought too with a van, if you look around, do one or two a month just to get out the house. From El Paso to Dallas or Houston, 1,800 and expenses. Yeah, you don't make the 800 for the week or something, but get out of the house. Do one or two a month or something like that. Just add to your. You can work as much as you want when you're retired. They're not going to tax you or nothing. But I'm just so fucking wore out. And then you get a little box or a van, but I checked out a couple cargo van. You put one pallet, specialized shit or something, whatever. It's paying as much as a whole load in your trailer in the truck and trailer. So, and get your little mattress in there, and one or two pallets max, and you can look around. You find a load like that. So, I thought about that, but not enough to. I just assume if I could make a podcast or something and make 300-400 bucks a month or something like that, 100-200 a week. I want to fix my Cadillac and then maybe buy a little Toyota pickup or something like that, 3 or 4 thousand, whatever, just to run around. I like to drive around El Paso to reminisce to when I grew up and this, that, and see all the new buildings and whatever they got some good shit in El Paso, but right now what I'm doing, I got Walmart delivering my shit, so that's good enough. But I'd like to do a little more, uh, just to stay active. If you want to say, like, when you're retired, say you stay at home or you're gonna die. And I just bored shit, and I started with the options, probably too focused on that to just to the point where I'm desperate. At least I made 20, 30 bucks today. At least something. I buy my cigarettes. And that does made 150 about 3 weeks ago. And that now when I go to order shit, I feel a little calmer about it. 20, 30, $40 item. I says, yeah, well, you made a little extra, so don't worry about it. That makes me feel better. Just a little bit. Just little, like I'm working on that screen on the wrought iron print, just making little adjustments. And I put some twine. I got some twine for $2 to cut a piece off, tie it to the top of the wrought iron, put the screen. It's about 2 foot from the top to hold it up straight, and then measure it at the bottom. You don't want a gap. There's a little gap. I'm trying to keep the cats out. But just try to eyeball it. I mean, I got a measuring tape and all that, but it's like, oh yeah, I mean, make a production out of it. I'm like, hey man, it's 100-year-old house. You're learning, just do whatever you can to make it work. That's why I did my truck a lot. I got pretty good at it. I mean, you can do that, but it's time consuming too. I said that's why these guys with a skill charge, 100, 120, $150 an hour. It's not for the labor they do, but it's for all those years that they were buying tools and learning. Ain't nothing to that MIG welder, but before I had it, I got to get extension cords to get out in the backyard, and they had put in 220 and a 110 outlet in the garage 20 years ago, and I had to get some extension wires and a little what do you call it, outlet plugs, and hook all that shit up. That's all hours and hours. I was going to send a picture to my nephew, and I said I got about on the screen on the back. I got about uh, about 50 hours or so. I say he's thinking for him 50 hours at $200 an hour, lawyer. Uh, that's why I asked him. I said, how much the mechanic? I think or welders or plumbers or something. How much they charge in El Paso? You got more experience over here than I do. He said 120, about 120 an hour, somewhere around there. So number one, that's a lot less than him. So he don't want to fool with it. For me, that's good money. I don't need too much. I'm single. He's putting his daughters through med school. I think he's probably got loans out. That's on him. But it's all relative. Sometimes you're better off. That's one thing I know in New York. You take it all the way down, man. Sometimes you're better off with no money. In New York, they'll give if you don't have it, they'll give it to you. Because I'm saying that, almost afraid to say that in El Paso because it's very macho out here, and work ethic. The Mexicans are hard workers, and I seen a couple of guys panhandling at Walgreens. There one guy from Rhode Island construction, but he got hooked on drugs. And he's out there panhandling. Hey, buddy, can you spare a little change? A Mexican guy, all clean, local, nice, $6, $8, $10,000 vehicle, and family guy, and turns around and gives the guy. I'm standing next to him, was smoking a cigarette, and the guy pulls out. He's got about 40 cents in change. Gives him a quarter, like he's doing him a favor. And this guy already told me his life story. He went to school with Genovese up in Rhode Island, some shit. We're bullshit. Who knows? But he's from back east also. So I says to the guy, it was almost instinctive, why don't you give him $1? Yeah, tall guy. He's in pretty good shape. He said he lost, he was 250. He's about 170 now from drugs, whatever. But he's a good guy. He was funny as fuck. We were joking the whole fucking time. I had him do a little work with the house. Then he's shooting up in the garage. I got my kid. I said, I could lose I read him the riot act. Don't do that shit here. They deliver drugs. So when I went to pick up my son in school, about 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. I guess he called the guy right away. He must have had some money in his pocket because I don't think I didn't pay him yet. I'm going to give him like $20 or something. Painted the eaves up on the front. 2 or 3 hours. I got the ladder. Piece of shit ladder. But yeah, I don't need that shit. So he was sleeping. My dad got 3 houses down the street. He said, can you do a load of laundry for me? I got my clothes over. He goes, oh, there's one of my dad's houses. I said, hey, you can't be staying here, man. That we're trying to fix those houses up to sell them. I my philosophy is like I say, California AA. Ain't nobody grateful. Ain't nobody give a fuck. And not too bad, but I come from New York City where everybody and the brother got the handout. And I did the same, so I can't say nothing. But it does go after a while. And when your money's tight, it tells you in the Bible, if you see your brothers down and out, try to help them. But when they say down and out, down on their luck or something, okay. But you could tell the difference. One guy is a trucker, real good guy. He said, I ran across a guy in truck stop in Houston or Dallas or some shit. I think it's TA, and I don't know, Dallas or something. He says, yeah, the guy's over there panhandling, went over there. And he said, I gave the guy $50. He said, here, pal, get yourself something to eat, maybe a motel room for the night, you know, trying to be a good guy. And he said he told his brother about it. He's driving a truck also. And he says, that motherfucker, he says, I know exactly who you're talking about. The motherfucker's been there for a while, and he's a drug addict. So the guy comes back to the truck stop a month or two later. The guy's still there. Said he chased that mother. He says, you fucking lying son of a bitch, you know. And that's exactly the point. And I says, I'll buy the guy a call. I'll talk to him first. I'll buy him a cup of coffee, give him 3 or 4 cigarettes, and because you're not doing right. They'll hire anybody. You got to have you're at the truck stop. Everybody in here's got a CDL, which it pays 60. Now it's $100. You know, to weed out the riffraff. It's not a community help center. Now the cops over here in El Paso, they dropped the drug addicts over there at the truck stop. You should drop them in front of a rehab or a hospital or something, or an AA club where they could start. The people are in that, you know, they can help you. At truck stop, you can panhandle, or if you're ambitious, you know, polish the rims for some guy that's got a $500,000 setup and want to look oh so good, you know, whatnot. You know, I do that. One guy was telling me he made 3, 4, 500 a day. I mean, he was one guy used to it and bullshit, and you go hustle, and it'd be a nice truck coming in. So I'm going to go see if that guy wants his rims polished and all that, the aluminum rims, and the front, the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, whatever. And charge the guy. So how much you charge for that? He says, 80 or 100. I got to kind of peel the guy out, you know, a little bit. Yeah, okay. The guy was. I ran into the guy in York, Pennsylvania at Petro over there. He said they chased him out over here in El Paso, so he went up to Nebraska or some shit, or Iowa, and slid on over to. But he was telling me he was going to get his driver's license. He didn't have his ID. Plays a little bit on the stock market. He made some money on games. Good guy. He was joking around a little bit and fucking around. He didn't ask me for shit. You want a coffee or something? You know. He said, no, I'm good. You know, he's got his own. You could tell the difference. He wasn't totally, you know, he had that work ethic. I think he could have done better, but he's doing his thing, you know, so. And a girl over there that works at the Petro gave him I think an Acura or something, a nice, clean, well, 90,000 miles on it. It was a $3,000 car or something. She gave it to. Something was going wrong with it, and she sold it to him for 500. See, it saved up 500 or 600. And then he says he gave me a ride to the auto parts. I needed something for the truck, like 2 miles away, you know. But it was overheating right away, so we made it over there. 5 minutes up, 5 minutes back, and I says, well, I got metric. It's metric. It was a foreign car. He said, if you want me to help, you got to take off the air filter to get to the carburetor or some shit. And it was like 4 little bolts. I says, well, he said, it's something here with there's a leak or something, antifreeze. You probably just need to replace a little hose about 6 inches long. $2, get a couple of clamps or whatever, you know. And he, man, this guy nutted up on me like, oh no, well, I got a guy that knows how to work on a car. I said, you see me out there working on my truck, and I got tools if you want to do it, or I can do it for you. I know the guy, you know. I felt like he's like a friend almost. I'm sitting in a recliner chair. I'm half dead, and he comes walking by. He goes, hey, Vic. Like a Friday night. I'm like, who the fuck? And I look at him, he looked a little different. He's clean, they were going to hire him in a couple of months at Petro or something. I'd love to drive out there and see the guy just for the fuck of it. But yeah, I'm going to cut this off. I guess I'm practicing cut a show. I'll talk all night here. So anyhow, God bless everybody. If you could get something out of what I said, that's all I'm trying to do here. So okay, have a nice weekend.